Buenos dias, everybody. Good morning. Uh-oh. I'm trying to get on Instagram this morning. Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. How you doing, beautiful ones? Good morning. How's my fam? I'm trying to get on Instagram, and I have to tell you, my phone, okay, here we go. I'm just gonna hit live. There we go. I think we're good. How's everybody doing this morning? Welcome to Uncommon Ministry. Romy Marlowe coming to you live here this morning. How you doing? Good morning, Ashley. Good morning, Alita. Hello, everybody. Good morning, Cal and Claire. Good morning. You guys, I had the best weekend. How was your weekend? Good morning. Come on in. When you jump in, say hello in the comments so that I can say hello back. And make sure that you follow my account so that you can join us every morning, Monday to Friday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard for Uncommon Ministry. We talk about some good juicy stuff here. I'm apologizing ahead of time for my hair. I have, no matter what I did to my hair this morning, it looked like this, no matter what I did. And I ran out of time. So I hope you guys can handle it. I hope you can handle my hair this morning because it's a whole situation. Good morning, Jax. Good morning, Angelique. Hello, sis. Okay, so we have Angelique and Alita. Okay. Amazing. You guys, I saw my man, my Mr. Man this weekend, and it was so good. We spent two days together, a day and a half, kind of like a total of 2 days. He came to visit me from Wisconsin. So I met a man online like 6 weeks ago on Facebook dating. And let me tell you, Facebook dating is where it's at. Who knew? Who knew? And we met on Facebook dating. Good morning, Joni. Hi, sis. And it's been a whirlwind. He took me for dinner. Good morning, Joanne. I'm gonna wave at you this morning. Thank you for joining live. He took me for dinner. He drove 4.5 hours to take me for dinner. And it was an instant yes. And it's just been a whirlwind ever since. And I'm gonna tell you a little bit about my weekend because it was so good. But let me see. Put a 1 in the comments if you're looking for love. Put a 1 in the comments if you're looking for love. Or if you're in a marriage or a relationship and you wanna reignite the spark, you gotta put the time in. You gotta put effort in. Time and effort. You have to put time and effort into the relationship. He drove 4.5 hours on our first date just to take me for dinner. You know? And then when I found out that he drove 4.5 hours to take me for dinner, I was blown away. And when I said to him, I had no idea that you drove 4.5 hours to take me for dinner. You know what he said? I was worried that if I told you, you wouldn't come. That's the kind of man, that's the kind of partner that we all need. Somebody who's going to drive 4.5 hours to take us for dinner. Okay? So that was a definite. Good morning, Joanne. That was a definite, what's the word? Like bonus, right? Because I noticed that he was efforting right away. He put in tons of effort at the get-go, right away. So I'm looking for ones. Who's looking for love? Who's looking for their man? Who's looking for their life partner? Who's looking for the person? So Angelique put a 1 in the comments. Let me inspire you. Facebook dating is where it's at. Here's the thing. I don't know. That's just where I was. I did meet a man prior to this relationship on Match.com in 2021. And that was a really serious relationship for me. So that was another one. But here's the thing, you don't have to pay for the app. Like if you don't want to pay for an app, if you don't want to pay, $60 a month to find somebody, because then once you get on these apps, you can't get off for a year. It's a whole situation. I remember when I met my ex-partner on Match.com, I had to keep paying. For a year. I had to buy a year subscription. It was so annoying. So anyway, but Facebook dating is free. And you can set your distance. So I set my distance to something like 500 kilometers, which worked out to basically exactly how far he is away from me. Like, I'm not even joking. He's right on the edge. Okay, so this morning on TikTok, we're gonna give a bunch of hearts. We're gonna do this thing where on TikTok, we just give hearts the whole time. Because apparently when you give lots of hearts, you actually like bump us up in the algorithm so that our lives can start getting more traction, which is super exciting. I don't even know all the things. So just go ahead and give lots of hearts and let's get it going. Normally TikTok's got more people on it. What's going on? What's happening? I think I'm gonna sit this morning. Are you guys okay if I sit? Anyway, so I met him. I'm going to tell you my love story. You guys want to hear my love story? Put some hearts in the comments, because this is actually in alignment with our theme today, which is we bend but we don't break, baby. We bend but we don't break. Put a heart in the comments if you've been hurt by love, if you have been scarred by love, if you have been there and it has taken you down and the rug has been ripped out underneath you, whether it was because a relationship ended, somebody left you, or you left them, you had to leave them, or they died. No matter what, put some hearts in the comments if you've been hurt by love, because I want to inspire you. So the theme this week is we bend but we don't break. And this is actually a theme that we've talked about throughout our last several months. But I really wanted to focus in on it this week because I know that a lot of you are struggling. I know that a lot of you are feeling like you're about to break. I know that a lot of you are feeling like, man, does it get any better? I know that a lot of you are feeling like I'm reaching my wit's end, right? Like how much more time can I spend feeling this way before I break? Right? You guys, that's how I felt. Juanita put hearts. Hi, good morning, Juanita. I'm so excited, sis. We're gonna finish your jacket today on the live, by the way. We're gonna put the Crushing It decal on your arm. So Juanita claimed the jean jacket with the XX on it. So everybody send Juanita a whole bunch of love. Juanita claimed this one on Friday. This one. And so she wants Crushing It put on one of the arms. So we're gonna do that today on the live. So she gets to watch me do it. How fun is that? So stick around. Which arm again, Juanita? Maybe just tell me one more time in the comments. She wants it long on one of the arms, right? Isn't that so fun? So what we've been doing on these lives is, as I've been talking, I've been creating, and the things that I can create, you guys can claim. And then what I do is I pray over them, and I write a little message in the inside, and I make it yours. I do something that you don't know about. I do something secret before I send it to you that doesn't change the look of it, because I know that you love it the way it is, but I do something a little bit personalized for you. So I have something in mind for her. But we're gonna put the Crushing It decal on the arm today while we're live. Okay, so I got off topic here. Okay, so the point is that we all bend, but we do not have to break. And you guys, my heart has been broken. I left a relationship. I've been heartbroken by people who I really cared about. I mean, you name it, it's happened to me. And there have been times when I have said, man, is this ever gonna happen? Like maybe on the right side. Okay, so she wants the decal on the right side. Okay, we're gonna do that today. Here it is. Here's the crush knit decal that we're gonna put on your jacket. You guys are gonna watch me put it on. So we've got the jacket, we've got the decal. I'm just gonna let my phone charge up before I do it. So I'll do it toward the end because my phones are all dead. But I'll put it here so I don't forget. So we're gonna put this for Juanita. We're gonna put the crush knit decal on the arm of this jacket. Okay, so excited for you, sis. You're gonna look gorgeous in it. So, you know, I was in a relationship that was really important to me, and then when my mom was sick, and I know a lot of you, good morning, Chris Foster. Good morning, Dreamweaver. Good morning. Good morning, Sharon. Please make sure to share this out, okay? Share this broadcast out to your community. I have to make Chris, I have to make you a mod. I think you're a mod on here today. I don't know. Anyway, you are now. You are now. And then when my mom got sick, you guys, I had to leave that relationship and move home and take care of my mom. And I never went back because after my mom died, then I really felt committed to staying to take care of my dad. And so that relationship ended and I was heartbroken. I really was. And I'm the one that ultimately made the choice, but it doesn't matter, right? Like how many of you, good morning, Millie. How many of you have left a relationship, but you were still heartbroken? Put a 1 in the comments if you've left a relationship, but it still hurt. Like it really, really hurt to leave. You know, even when we leave abuse, even when we leave situations that are toxic, we still have to heal our hearts. I remember when I left the emotionally abusive relationship back in 2012, my heart was broken. That's one of the things that people don't talk about. You leave abuse, but sometimes you still love that person, right? Good morning, Angel. Good morning, Brenda. And so it's a reality. Even if you've left abuse, even if you've left something that was really toxic for you, it might not have been abusive too. We don't need to name everything abuse. We don't need to name every ex-partner narcissistic. Sometimes it just doesn't work. Sometimes they're just not nice. Sometimes it's not working anymore. Okay, let's not label everybody all the things. That makes me crazy when people do that. Anyway, but sometimes we leave things because they're not healthy for us anymore, and our heart still hurts. So I've been in all of those situations. And then last year I dated somebody and he wasn't ready to commit, and so I had to heal my heart from that. Like there's different reasons why our hearts hurt a little bit, right? And so then we say to ourselves, that's it. Good morning, Reagan. That's it. There's no way that I'm ever gonna find love, because every time I find somebody that I care about or somebody that I think is the one, it doesn't work, right? But my girlfriend, who I always used to tell, go get in the dating pool. She'd say, I'm never gonna find love. And then she found love, okay? My girlfriend, Michelle, you guys have met Michelle. And so then I started being the one that was saying, I'm never gonna find love. And of course she turned around, and as my bestie, she said, come on, stop saying that. You will find love, but you gotta put yourself out there. So finally, about 3 months ago, 2.5 months ago maybe, I put myself on Facebook dating. I thought, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm bent, but I'm not broken, baby. I'm gonna put myself back out there, and I'm gonna put in my profile all the things. I love God, I love dogs, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm fit, I'm healthy, I'm looking for somebody who's all of these things. I was so clear. I thought, I'm gonna throw it all in my bio. And then of course I thought everybody's gonna read this bio and they're gonna be like, oh man, she's a whole situation. I'm never gonna find anybody. But I might as well just be honest. You guys, there is somebody out there who's just like you. There's somebody out there who has the same standards, and they haven't found anybody either. There's somebody out there who's looking for love, just like you're looking for love. And they're thinking, I'm never gonna find any. They've been heartbroken. They've gone through therapy. They've said all the things about it's never going to happen. And then just like you, they decide to put themselves on Facebook dating. Right? That is how my Jonathan and me met 16 years later. Never thought I would meet my man online. Oh, you guys met online, Angel? Oh, I love that. You're a whole situation. I am 100%. You got to find somebody who's got wide shoulders that can carry all that you are, right? And so here I am on Facebook dating, and I'm not even paying attention. Good morning, preacher. Good morning, Christian. Good morning, Carolyn. I'm just going to see who's here. DJ Frank. Love that. And don't I get a message from this guy? And he was 61. I looked at his profile, 61, 6'4". And you guys, I wanted a tall man because I'm 5'7", but I wear heels. Like, I don't know if you can see. Can you see my shoes? I'm a whole, like, I'm gonna try not to be, see those? I like to wear the heels. Like, right? I thought, I don't want some short guy who's gonna complain. I dated somebody one time who told me to stop wearing high heels because it made him feel small. You know what? If you feel small, because I'm wearing my high heels, that's not a me problem, that's a you problem. Anyway, so I was like, I need somebody who's nice and tall, somebody who makes me feel petite and, you know, and safe in his arms. Well, doesn't my Mr. Man just show up in my DM? 61, 6'4". Stop right there. He loves God. And he's a cutie patootie. He's so handsome. I think he's everything. And so he asks me for dinner after a few FaceTimes. And he drives 4.5 hours to take me for dinner. We close the place. And then before we leave, he keeps saying, I just want to make sure that we can go out again. And I said to him, you keep saying that to me. You keep asking me. And he said, well, I just want to make sure. So then he came here to Thunder Bay for my birthday. And he took me out for my birthday. And that was the weekend that we sealed the deal. And I said, if somebody's going to drive 5.5 hours to take me for dinner on my birthday and 4.5 hours to take me out for dinner on the first date, and he's 6'4", and he's all the things that I want, I'd be stupid to let this one go, right? I'm so excited. So then he came to visit me this weekend. So I'm telling you all this. I know I'm taking a lot of time, but I'm telling you this because, you guys, there's life after heartbreak. You will bend. Your heart's going to be broken. Things aren't going to go the way you want. They're going to say they're one way and they're another way. Or you decide that little thing that they do when they're chewing their food, you can't live with it. You know? Or they're just too short. Or they don't love God enough. Or they're too judgmental. Or they talk about their ex too much. Or whatever. If you keep your standards high, and you also listen to your intuition, this person will show up for you. I promise you, he will show up. I love love stories too. Wear the shoes. Amen to that, right? He loves the way I dress. He loves the way I wear my hair. He just loves everything about me, right? We need somebody who's not trying to change us. We need people who love us just the way we are, right? Like, I forget things all the time, and he loves it. He thinks it's funny. He fixed this thing. He came to my apartment, and he fixed a whole bunch of stuff. He came to my condo, and he was like, okay, I need to fix these things for you. And he just fixed things. You guys, I have been living with no handle. Okay, don't judge. I've been living with no handle on my fridge. You know how, you have a fridge, and often when they install them, you have to put the handles on after. I just grab the door and open it because that's me. He's like, you don't have handles on your fridge you don't have handles on your fridge. I said, no. He's like, okay, we're gonna fix a few things. So he came in and just fixed, one of my cupboard doors wasn't closing properly. He just came in and fixed it. He's like, I was getting ready the other day and he's standing there in my kitchen and I go, what are you doing? He's going, the fact that this cupboard door doesn't close makes me crazy. So he's in there hitting it and fixing it and he just fixed it. I didn't have to ask. He's just doing stuff. I walked in and he's just doing stuff. He's like, I got a whole long list of stuff I want to fix next time I'm here. I'm gonna make sure to bring my tools. He just wants he's like, baby, I just want your life to be easy. I just want you to be happy. You know, he's a fixer-upper. He's not a fixer-upper. He's a fixer-upper. He fixes things. I don't need to fix anything. Listen, my heart was broken. Or I thought my heart was broken. Let me change that. But it wasn't. It was just all bent out of shape. And you know what he's doing? He's coming back in and he's straightening it out. He's showing me how I can be loved. I introduced him to my dad. On Saturday, we went to my dad's place and we spent the whole late afternoon, early evening with my dad. And he was all over that. Can you imagine? Like, for real. Most people would say, I'm here for 1.5 days. I don't want to spend half a day with your dad. He was like, I can't wait to spend half a day with your dad. I can't wait to see you and your dad in action. I can't wait to meet the person who brought you up. I can't wait to see the person who you're so close to, the person that you've dedicated so much of your time to. That's the kind of person that we want in our lives. Okay, so listen, the theme of the week is I will bend, but I will not break. And the reason that I wanted to talk about this, even though we've talked about it before, is because I love this analogy. Yes, I'm lighting my candle, which means we're getting to it. Here's the thing. Whenever I light my candle, it means we're getting to it, okay? But here's what I want you to remember. That it doesn't matter if you've been divorced, it doesn't matter if you've been widowed, it doesn't matter if your money's funny, it doesn't matter if your heart's broken, it doesn't matter if you have no friends, it doesn't matter if you're in a transition period in your life, it doesn't matter what's going on in your life. You are not done. You are not broken. You are not shattered, okay? You're bent. And sometimes we get so dramatic about our lives that we forget that we are resilient. And so I love the analogy of the palm tree. Put a palm tree in the comments. We're going to talk about the palm tree and how we're like a palm tree. And I'm going back to Micah 7 verse 8, which is the scripture that we used back in April when we were talking about being the light, right? Like we will fall, but we'll rise back up. So Micah 7 verse 8 says, do not gloat over me, my enemy. Though I have fallen, I will rise. Though I sit in darkness, the Lord will be my light. And this is what we're talking about. Okay, so you can you guys lean into my belief in you about the fact that there's love out there. If you're in a marriage that's funky right now, you need to be working extra hard. You need to be putting everything that you have into that marriage. Don't expect them to do all the work, because I promise you that you're part of the problem. Like, I know for sure that when I was in past relationships that didn't work, I was part of the problem. And so many women feel so entitled that we forget that, maybe I'm a little bit judgmental. Maybe I'm asking him to change. Maybe their heart's been broken. Maybe before me, they were brokenhearted and they came to me wanting me to help them heal. They didn't come to me to make them worse, to put more scarring on their hearts. Like, we have to remember that they're people too. So he came to me after 2 years of healing a broken heart. He came to me after 2 years of healing a broken heart. So he and I have very similar timelines when it comes to our healing journey. And what he needs from me is love. So it's a two-way street. You know, people come to us trusting us that we will take care of their hearts. So how are we treating the people around us, right? Being bent but not broken also means that you don't break yourself all over other people. You don't put your junk on everybody else and then assume that they're going to have to learn how to carry it. No. That's your job. So though I have fallen, I will rise. The Lord will be my light. This is the piece that we're talking about. This is that I will bend, but I will not break. So I know that I've talked about this analogy with a lot of you here, but for those of you who are new or you just want to hear it again, I remember when I lived in Mexico. I was in a tropical storm. There's one, and I don't ever think I told you guys this story. Good morning, Shannon Jess. Good morning, LB Humble. I was at a Thai restaurant with a girlfriend of mine. We were traveling in Tulum, Mexico. And we were sitting in this restaurant, and it was one of those restaurants where the windows are all open, and it was looking over the ocean. And the sky was black. And this was the first tropical storm that I had ever sat through. The sky is black, and I'm thinking, holy crap, something's about to happen. And the thing about a tropical storm is it starts with the water, right? So the water started to the waves started to get huge, right? And then so it was the sky, and then the waves and the wind, and then the rain. And we're not talking rain that shoots up and down. We're talking rain that shoots this way and that way and all, you know. And we're sitting in this restaurant, and everybody got soaked. It didn't matter. They tried to close the windows. It didn't matter because one of those big thatched roofs, right? Everything got soaked. Our meals were flying all over. Like, we were in the middle of a tropical storm. And I remember watching the palm trees. And I wasn't afraid because it wasn't like they would have told us if it was danger zone. I wasn't afraid. But I just remember watching all of the palm trees around this restaurant and along the beach just swaying all the way down, and the tops would come down and hit the sand, and then they would pop up, back up, and then they would bend and they would touch down on the sand, and then they would pop back up, and they would bend, but they would not break. And I was mesmerized watching these palm trees. And I thought to myself, wow, this is what life is like, right? And I have been obsessed with palm trees ever since. I love palm trees for this reason. The rain pounds, the storm rages, the wind is relentless. And the palm tree will bend all the way to the ground. And it looks like it's going to snap. It looks like the bottom should uproot, but it doesn't. It looks like it should break, but then eventually it pops back up. How many times have you thought that you were going to break? How many times have you thought, I'm not going to make it through this storm? How many times have you felt like the palm tree, where you were tested and you were bent, and you're bent all the way, like you're bent almost right in half, and you think, I'm going to snap. But because you're a child of God, because of your faith, you come back up. The palm tree is still standing after the storm passes. Why? Because it's made differently than other trees. The palm tree isn't made with stiff wood. It's made with bendable, fibrous materials. Just like children of God. We're made different. Are we not? Put a heart in the comments if you believe that as a Christian or as a child of God, as a believer, that we're made a little bit different than other people. And when you go through terrible storms and people say to you, man, how did you do that? You say, my faith. Sweetheart, my faith. That's what my mom said when my mom was dying. And she was going through this terrible chemotherapy that was just basically killing you from the inside out. And I said to her, Mom, how are you doing this? And she said, my faith, sweetheart, my faith. We are made differently. We are different as children of God. We can withstand any storm through the faith that we have in the Lord our God. We bend, but we do not break. What bends will survive, and what refuses will break. Right? What bends will survive, and what refuses to bend will break. It makes me think of all the people out there who have rejected God. All the people out there who have rejected faith because their church hurt, because somebody did them wrong, because some human in the church who's flawed and who's sick and who has been broken changed the way that they feel about God. We let what humans do affect the way that we feel about God. But we need to be looking at Jesus and keeping our eyes on Jesus. When the people around us are failing, when the Christians around us, when the believers around us, when the church is failing, we need to keep our eyes on Jesus because he never failed humans. We have to remember that that's how God operates, right? And so as Christians, as children of God, we bend, but we don't break. We stay rooted, baby. So we're going to talk about 3 things today. We're going to talk about what it means to be resilient. We're going to talk about what it means to be strong. And we're going to talk about what it means to have courage. And we're going to use that palm tree as an example. Okay? Because there's a difference between resilience, strength, and courage. People often use those words interchangeably, but they're not the same. They're different. So if we take a look at the word resilience is the ability to bounce back, right? Resilience is our ability to withstand the storm. The palm tree bends, but it remains upright. That's resilient. That's how our faith helps us back as believers. Resilience is not avoiding hardship. That's not being resilient. Resilience is recovering from hardship. Write that down. Resilience is not avoiding hardship. It's recovering. That is why, as children of God, as people who have faith, we go into hard places that other people won't go into. We don't avoid hard conversations. We don't avoid healing. We don't avoid the people who are angry at God. We go into those places because we're resilient. It's the ability to bounce back. It's the knowing that we have, that we will make it through the storm. We often think if I were stronger, this wouldn't hurt. No. Strength doesn't prevent pain, right? Resilience helps you recover from it. So just remember that in the midst of all of the pain that you're going through, that's part of being human. But it's our resilience that gets us through it. We have unrealistic expectations of God. Why does this hurt so much? Why would God do this to me? Why would God cause me pain? Why would God cause me to hurt? Why would God cause my child or my husband or my friend to die or have this terrible experience? Listen, part of being human, part of living this life is experiencing pain. It's also experiencing joy. It's also experiencing fulfillment. It's also experiencing pleasure, but pain is part of it. Oh, but I know many that don't know about this stuff and they love Jesus, and that's amazing. I love that. There are so many people out there who do love Jesus. And sometimes their faith gets tested, right? And it's just a reminder that even when our faith is tested, we got to keep our eyes on God. Listen, my dad, this is a really good example. Thank you, TYJ. This is a really good example. My mom and my dad had a beautiful marriage, and I don't think their faith has ever wavered. When my mom was diagnosed with cancer, her faith got deeper. But guess what? And this is why I'm talking about this, TYJ. Because my dad's faith was tested. And all of a sudden, the person that he had spent 60 plus years with, who was a good woman, who was a child of God, who was the chair of the board, who was doing her work for God at the church, all of a sudden, my dad felt like God had betrayed him and God had betrayed her. And his faith was tested, I think, for the first time in his life. So you can be a child of God and you can love Jesus and you can you can think it's all God, you got it all going on. And then when tragedy hits, this is when we need to be reminded that we will bend, but we will not break. Because it's when we are in our greatest times of challenge that we need to be reminded that as children of God, our resilience and our courage and our strength come from our faith. They don't come from ourselves. Because if we depended on ourselves for courage and resilience and strength, which is what we're talking about today, we would fail. Right? We have to lean in to Jesus for faith. Especially in those times when there is no evidence around us that it's going to work. Right? The resilient, the God-led people say, I cried, I struggled, I questioned, but I had faith and baby, I'm still here. I had faith in God and I'm still here. If we don't have God, there's so many examples of people out in the world who don't have anything to lean into. And so they lean into addiction, right? They lean into violence. They look at other ways to resolve their pain, but it doesn't work. It might give them a temporary hit, but it doesn't give them the ability to bounce back up, right? Micah says, though I have fallen. Notice he doesn't deny the fall. He simply refuses to stay there. And this is what's important. God allows us to fall. First of all, he wants us to depend on him. He's strategic. He loves it when we depend on him. Faith is the path to eternal life. It is the path. We must have faith. We must give ourselves over to him. We cannot depend on ourselves. We cannot say, I've got this. The only way to eternal life is to have faith in God. It's the narrow place. It's the narrow path, but it is the path. And what it does is it allows us to lean into God when there's no hope. So like the palm tree is the way it is because of its foundation, because of the way it's built. But if the palm tree didn't have any of those characteristics, it would break. Just like the Christian, just like the children of God that we are. If we didn't have God in our corner, if we didn't have faith, if our roots weren't wide, if we weren't built differently than everybody else, like all the other trees around us, we would break in the same storm. Isn't it interesting that we can go through something and somebody else can go through something and we get through it, but they don't? Does anybody know anybody who's been through something similar to what you've been through? And they look at you and they say, I don't know how you're doing it. Put a heart in the comments and they'll say, I don't know how you're doing it. Like people said this to me when my mom died. They said, how are you so happy? How are you thriving? You look so good. You look so healthy. Wow. And I always say to them, my faith is what got me through. My faith is what allowed me to build a business, a second business, to thrive, to continue to play, to continue to laugh, to continue to be out there in the world. It was my faith. Because I had people saying to me, when my mom died, I died. And I said, that's not going to happen to me. My mom's death doesn't mean that I'm dead. If anything, it gave me more life. If anything, it gave me more reason to live. If anything, it gave me more purpose. Because of my mom's death and because of her journey through cancer, I am doing this work in this ministry. Baby, I did not break. I might have bent, but I did not break. Your fall is proof of your humanity. So don't expect not to fall. Don't expect that as a human, as a child of God, as a believer, that your life is going to be perfect. That the perfect man or the perfect woman and the perfect child and the perfect health and the perfect financial situation and the perfect friendships and the perfect life are all going to be yours because you're a child of God. No, that's not what he promises. What he promises is perfection after we die. What we got to do is get there. How do we get there? By faith. Your fall is proof of your humanity. Your rising is proof of your faith. Chaka-laka, chaka-laka, chaka-laka. Can you please write that down? I must remember that I am human and I will bend. Life is not going to be perfect, and I don't expect God to deliver me a perfect life. See, he wants us to lean in. He gives us this life so that we can learn to lean in. Listen, even Jesus didn't have a perfect life. Think about all the stuff that he had to go through. What did he do? He leaned in. Being God's promise, listen guys, we think that because we're children of God, that we're going to get treated differently by the world. I'm going to tell you something. We're going to get treated worse. It's a promise in the Bible. We will be persecuted. We will be tempted. We will be abandoned. We will be threatened. Do you realize that with your faith comes more persecution, comes more challenge, comes more adversity? So why do you think that we need to have the resilience? Why do we think that we need to have the word? Why do you think that he makes us different, you guys? We've got it all wrong. Everybody says, oh, I can't believe, I've been such a good Christian. I can't believe that my child died. Guess what? You are a child of God. You will be tested more than anybody else. But there's a reward that not everybody else gets. And that's eternal life. And that's really important for you to remember. So don't walk around. We can't walk around as Christians being angry at God because he didn't treat us differently. It's not him. We are living with 8 billion other people. Everything that goes wrong in our life isn't God. See, this is what we do. We take, right? You guys, seriously. We take credit for all the stuff that's good, and we give God credit for all the stuff that's bad. No. You don't get to do that. Here's a question for you. Have you ever made a bad choice? Has God ever given you the power of intuition and you ignored it? And you went and made a really bad choice. And then something went down because you made that bad choice, and then you blame it on God. When actually, he was giving you the answer. I really believe that most of the things that happen to us in our lives that are tragic, individually, I mean, if we look back, maybe I shouldn't say most, a lot of the things that happen to us in our lives that aren't so great are because we simply didn't listen. You know, We can trace it back to making the bad choice to be with the guy who all the flags were there. Yellow flags, red flags, whatever. But he was really good looking, or he was really wealthy, or he promised to take care of us. And so we did it anyway. And then we get into the marriage and he's abusive. And he beats the crap out of you, or he controls you, or he tries to kill you, or 1 million different things. And when you trace it backwards, that wasn't God. That wasn't God. God was saying, don't do it. You have the power of intuition. Don't do it. And you did it anyway. Like God is up there looking down saying, seriously, bro, what was me? That was me, not you. You got it twisted. Exactly, Kim. Exactly. Kimberly Davis. This is the thing. We want to blame him. Okay, listen, point number 2. Strength is what holds you together during the storm. The palm tree has roots that are wide, but built specifically to support the elements it's exposed to. Okay, if you take a look at a palm tree, you can't see their roots, but if you were to remove all the sand, their roots go really wide. Why? It's like training wheels on a bike. In order to keep it stable, they have to go wide, not deep, because they would be uprooted otherwise. And so God, in all his wisdom, because he's so smart, gave those trees super wide roots so that when they bend, the root system is actually wider than the bend. Okay? And this is like, this is the way that God treats faith. I'm going to give you an immense amount of love. I'm going to forgive your sins before you've even sinned. I'm going to give you this huge foundation of unlimited love, unlimited forgiveness, unlimited grace, unlimited intuition, unlimited creativity. I'm going to give you a family of people around you. If you just open your eyes, they're everywhere. I'm going to give you this root system that is so wide that when you bend, you won't break. The only way that you'll break is if you take your eyes off of me. Then you may break. The trunk is resilient. It's what we're made of on the inside. It's our internal systems that determine if we bend and don't break as well, right? So it's the foundation and the trunk. I'm just getting this ready to go here for her jacket. Strength is getting up despite the storm, praying despite your fear, showing up for God even when you're exhausted, trusting God when nothing makes sense. The strongest people are not the loudest people or the most influential people. They're the people who are made differently. They are believers. That's strength. Storms, I love this so much. Write this down. Storms reveal your character. Your strength reveals your faith. When you're in a storm, you guys, we're going to see the real you. We're going to see what you're really made of. Right? When you're in the middle of a storm, the people around you are going to see who you really are. Do you take it out on everybody else? Do you get nasty? Do you become selfish? Do you lose your faith? Do you get angry? Do you fall back into your addiction? Or are you kind? Are you patient? Are you rooted into your commitments to yourself? Do you love everybody else despite what you're going through? The storm will reveal your character. And how you withstand that reveals your faith. That's why when my mom was dying of cancer and I said to her, "How are you so strong?" And she said, "My faith, sweetheart, my faith." I thought, I need more of that. I need more of that in my life. And that's when I recommitted to God. That's when I recommitted to my faith. That's when I started really diving in. I started going to church. I started surrounding myself with people who were God's kids. I started leading a Bible study at my church. I started connecting with people online, and I changed the way that I moved in this world. And guess what? I made it through and then some. So point number 2, strength is what holds you together during the storm. Point number 3, courage. So we've been talking about resilience, strength, and now we're talking about courage. The difference between, because they're not the same. Courage is moving forward even when you're afraid. The palm tree doesn't wait for perfect weather. It survives the weather it is given, and it keeps standing. And internally, while this weather is happening, it's preparing for the next storm. It's preparing for the next calm day. So even while things are moving, it's up to us to continue growing. So in the middle of all of this, okay, so we have a palm tree that knows at any time there can be another raging tropical storm. It doesn't just give up and die. It continues to stand. And what does it do internally? It gets ready for the next storm. It becomes more resilient. It grows its trunk even wider. It grows its roots even greater. And at the same time, it continues to be beautiful to the environment around it. It continues to provide shade. It continues to provide the fruits. It continues to be a home and a safe haven for animals. It continues to be beautiful. Just because it's gone through the storm doesn't give it an excuse to stop having purpose, to be ugly, to pull up its roots and say, I'm out of here. And it's just like us. We go through a storm as children of God, we become more beautiful. We go through a storm as the children of God, we become even greater in our faith. We go through the storm as children of God, we provide more shelter for those who are in the storm. We become more faithful, greater as children of God through the storm and after the storm. That is our job. Just like the palm tree, we don't stop being beautiful because we had a bad day, week, month, year, or decade. No, we actually use that as a reason to become even closer to God, even be a greater example. Won't He do it? We become the person who says, look what I just went through, and I'm still beautiful, and my roots are wider than they've ever been, and anybody who's been through this, come to me and I'll provide you safety and shelter and shade because I know what it's like. Many people confuse courage and confidence. Confidence says, I know I can, but courage says, I don't know if I can, but I'm going to anyway, all because of the grace of God. See, there's a difference. Courage is saying, God's got me. Confidence is kind of saying, I've got me. And I'm not against confidence because there comes a time when we have to believe in ourselves as well. But today we're talking about courage. Today we're talking about resilience. Today we're talking about strength. Today we're talking about those times when we think that we're going to break and that we're not going to bend. But we decide that we're going to bend because we're children of God. Micah didn't say, I have all the answers. He said, the Lord will be my light. He depended on God in the darkness. Courage is not trusting yourself, you guys. Courage is trusting God. Because today you might feel like the palm tree. Who here feels like the palm tree today? You've been bent. Put a palm tree in the comments. You've been bent. Maybe you're tired. Maybe you're exhausted. Maybe you're questioning everything. Maybe the winds have been fierce. The pressure's been intense, the darkness has felt heavy, and perhaps you've wondered if you have what it takes to survive this season. Micah reminds us of something powerful. Listen, the miracle is not that we never fall. The miracle is that we rise again. God never promised a storm-free life, you guys. He promised His presence in the middle of the storm. Listen to me. He promised to be our light in the darkness. He promised to strengthen us when we are weak. But he never promised no storm, baby. He promised that what the enemy meant for harm, he could use for, put it in the comments, he could use for good. That's the promise. I'm making her jacket. I'm putting the thing on your jacket, baby. Doing it. Remember this, you are more resilient than you think. You are stronger than you feel, and you are braver than you know. You have more grit than you've given yourself credit for. And God is growing something in this storm that sunshine alone could never produce. So let the enemy hear you today. Like Micah, make this declaration. Ready for it? Do not gloat over me. I may have bent, but I did not break. I may have fallen, but I will rise. I may be sitting in the darkness, but the Lord will be my light. Because like palm trees survive storms, so do the children of God. Amen and amen. Here's your declaration. Well, let's write this in the comments. You ready for it? You ready for it? I'm just putting her sleeve on here, you guys. I want to make sure that I don't mess this up. Juanita, we're doing it. We're doing it, sissy. She's crushing it. Oh, this is going to be so good. This is your declaration. I bend, but I will not break. I fall, but I will rise. I face darkness, but God is my light. I survive the storm, and I will flourish because of it. Flourish. I will flourish. I will not just survive, I will thrive because of it. Now that's what we're talking about. So put a palm tree in the comments if you're gonna start this week off strong. You guys, we're not gonna sit around and be victims of our circumstances. Because listen, everybody goes through the storm. There's more than one palm tree on the beach. All you gotta do is go down and take a look, and you'll see there are palm trees everywhere. They're all over. There's not just one, you're not alone in your challenge. But you get to rise up. I bend, but I will not break. I fall, but I will rise. I face darkness, but God is my light. I survive the storm, and I will flourish because of it. Yeah, baby. How's everybody doing? Are you ready? Listen, you will not break. Do not allow yourself to get into the headspace that you will break. Lean into your faith, build up your resilience, build your strength in God, have faith, and know that you will get through this no matter what. If your heart is breaking, mine has broken. And here I am. If you think you're never gonna love again, your heart's never gonna heal from the loss of your child or your husband or your friend or your dog or whatever it is that you're struggling through, believe me, your heart will heal. You will always grieve. Grief is love. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about bending, not breaking. But if you take it upon yourself, if you try to lean into other broken people or your old broken self, by broken, I mean, I probably shouldn't use that word, right? Because we don't break. Your bruised self. For the answer, no, it's not enough. People who are really, really struggling, do you ever notice that they're like, I need more. This isn't enough. I'm going to have to go in. I'm going to have to go in deep. And that's often when they come into their faith. Because they didn't have what they needed to get through this extraordinary situation. Right? Okay, you ready for it? So you guys, listen up. Things that we've got coming up here in the Uncommon Woman. How do you feel? I'm going to do the big reveal. Juanita, are you ready? So tomorrow, I've got a jacket that I'm going to finish off, and I'll make it available on here. I love you guys so much. Thank you for joining, Anne. So, things that we have going on. Uncommon Mamas. So, in the Uncommon Woman Sisterhood, which is the membership for my ministry. It's women only. Next Wednesday is Uncommon Mamas. And Uncommon Mamas is a community of women who all have children with autism. And what I love is that one of the women who is in our community has decided to lead this. And it is such a safe space for women who feel like they're gonna break, you know? Mamas who are going through a really hard time and they just need support. And so Uncommon Mamas meets every second Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard, and you have to be in the Uncommon Woman Sisterhood to be part of it. But as a healing space, go to romymarlowe.com and you'll see Uncommon, the membership will pop up. Okay, if you put June 10 in the coupon code, you get $10 off the first month. It's $19 and you get to be part of that. Oh, look at Juanita. I'm gonna put the jacket on so that she can see. Okay, so we have Uncommon Mamas. We have a $10, you can do 6 months for $150 or $10 off the first month, okay? So if you go to romymarlowe.com right now, oh, this is so good, you guys. So she can be standing around. I love the pink pop on the side. How many of us love this? Maybe I need to I'm gonna go get some jean jackets and I'll make a few more jean jackets, okay? Do we love it? Do we love it? It's all yours, Juanita. Okay, so Uncommon Woman Sisterhood, our next call is June 18th, which is a week this coming Thursday. You can buy all of the jackets and everything that I make on these lives. You can buy them online on the Linktree. And if you want to be part of Uncommon Woman Sisterhood, I invite you in. It's a sisterhood. It's women only, women of faith, women who want to have uncommon conversations about God. We're doing it differently, right? And Uncommon Mamas is an incredible example of the kind of community and the kind of group, the kind of conversations that we're having. So to be an Uncommon Mamas, you got to be part of the sisterhood. So if you have a child with autism, and also here's the other thing, we've had a conversation about women who think that they are autistic or they're on spectrum to be part of that group as well. You're invited in. So that group is actually open, I think, to anybody, right? And then we have Embody, which is my upcoming mastermind for women who are business owners and women who are leaders. And you want to get in the room with me and a bunch of other women who are doing powerful things. And we are going to mastermind for 6 months. What does that mean? That we come together twice a month and we talk about what it means to embody the woman who is going to do what you are going to do, build the legacy business, because here's the problem. You have great ideas, but you're not embodying the woman who you need to be to carry it. And this is the biggest challenge. I've been working with women for over a decade, building businesses and coaching. And what I've recognized is that the biggest challenge is not that they don't have the ideas or the know-how, they haven't embodied the woman that they have to be to do the big thing. And so Embody is all about becoming. It's women who support women. It's me coaching and mentoring women into the next level of business, into the next level of leadership, and into the next level of who they need to be in order to do the big thing, okay? So you work closely with me in this space. It's not one-on-one, it's mastermind, right? So we're working as a group, but there are people who need this kind of support. You're at a place where your business is starting to get off the ground, or you've got great business ideas, but now you're like, who do I have to become? Like, I'm gonna have to grow, and I'm scared to do it alone. I'm gonna have to change the way that I walk. I'm gonna have to change the people that I hang out with. I'm gonna have to change my money mindset. I'm gonna have to change all kinds of stuff, and I want support. Women thrive in circle. So you can get into Embody, and we start at the end of June. And also I'm now opening up again my one-on-one mentorship, which is where I walk with women side by side, and I walk you through all of it. I walk you through your business. I walk you through who you're becoming. I walk you through some of the healing. I lift you, I champion you. You're in my pocket. You're in my corner. I'm in your corner. We do life together. And that's an opportunity as well. Okay, so Embody is a group. the Rose Gold Leadership is my one-on-one mentorship. Okay? And I know I'm going over my time. Sorry, you guys. So you can DM me privately. I'm easy to find, Romy Marlowe, on all the socials, Romy Marlowe, Uncommon Woman, or you can email info@theuncommonwoman.com, and that will get Ashley, who's my assistant, and then she'll forward the email over to me. Okay? You guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you to my Uncommon hosts. Thank you, everybody. I love each of you so much. You guys, share this out to your community. Share this message to people and let them know that it's God, really, that gets you through the storm. When you are of God, when you walk life with God, when you surround yourself with other children of God, that's what we're doing in Uncommon Woman Sisterhood. You may bend, but baby, you don't break. I love you. I honor you. Stay uncommon. Reach out to me if you want any information about anything. If you want me to make you a jacket, if you're like, can you make me a jean jacket that has Uncommon Woman logo and the crush, like reach out to me and say, like, custom order, and I'll make it for you on the live. Okay? Have a great day, everybody. There's love out there for you. Woo! I'm feeling juicy. Have a great day.